Beneath the indifferent gaze of the Egyptian sun, an ancient secret lay entombed, not in gold, but in silence. Long before the Titans of Giza clawed at the sky, another monument, a ghost of ambition, was swallowed by the sand. At Saqqara, the sprawling city of the dead, a pyramid older than the Great Pyramid itself was erased from memory, its stones sleeping for over 4,000 years beneath the shifting dunes. How could a wonder of the Old Kingdom, a pharaoh's stairway to eternity, simply vanish? This is a story of what is forgotten. While the world marvels at Giza, few look south to Saqqara, the true cradle of the Pyramid Age. Here, on this sacred plateau, stands the progenitor of them all, the Step Pyramid of Giza. Built some 4,700 years ago, it is a revolution in stone, the first colossal structure of its kind. Conceived by the visionary architect Imhotep, its 6 terraces were not merely a tomb, but a ladder for the king's soul to ascend to the immortal stars. It was the dawn of an architectural saga. But this was only the beginning. In the shadow of Djoser's triumph, his successor, a pharaoh named Sekhemkhet, harbored a vision grander still. He would not merely replicate his predecessor's masterpiece, he would surpass it. His own pyramid, planned for the same hallowed ground of Saqqara, was designed to rise in 7 massive tiers, a monument that would have dwarfed Djoser's and redefined the horizon. During Egypt's 3rd dynasty, decades before Khufu's Great Pyramid was even conceived, the work began. Yet fate is the ultimate architect. Sekhemkhet's reign was tragically brief, lasting perhaps only 6 years. The chisels fell silent, the ramps stood empty. When the king died, his colossal project was abandoned, a mere spectre of its intended glory. Only the vast subterranean burial chamber and the first truncated step of the pyramid had been completed. As dynasties rose and fell, the desert began its patient, relentless work. The wind, carrying veils of sand, buried the unfinished walls and filled the open corridors. Slowly, inexorably, the monument sank beneath the earth, until all that remained was an anonymous mound on the plateau, indistinguishable from the natural landscape. Sekhemkhet's ambition was lost, a forgotten footnote in a land of legends. The mystery endured until the mid-20th century. In the year 1951, the archaeologist Zakaria Gonaim was surveying the Saqqara necropolis. His eyes, trained to read the subtle language of the land, were drawn to a peculiar rectangular enclosure, a subtle anomaly in the sand. He suspected it was more than a trick of the light. He began to dig. It was a painstaking act of faith, peeling back the layers of millennia, one basket of sand at a time. What he was about to uncover was not just a structure, but a lost chapter of history. The story of Sekhemkhet proves that the desert does not only destroy, it also preserves. It entombs a mother lies sleeping beneath our feet, a testament to the idea that the grandest human designs are ultimately subject to the silent, inexorable passage of time. Beneath the relentless Egyptian sun, where the sands of Saqqara hold the memories of millennia, a team of excavators toiled. For years, the archaeologist Zakaria Gonaim had been driven by a conviction, a whisper from the past that another great pyramid lay hidden near the famous necropolis of Djoser. The work was arduous, a slow battle against time and terrain, until one day the rhythmic scrape of shovels was interrupted by a dull thud, the unmistakable resistance of
Most people stop watching right here, but if you continue, you'll discover something almost no one knows.
Dressed stone. They had found it. Not a tomb, but the edge of something far grander. A vast, sunken courtyard. As the sand was painstakingly cleared away, the outline of a long-lost pyramid complex began to emerge from its 4,000-year-old grave. Slowly, the buried pyramid of a forgotten king, Sekhemkhet, was coaxed back into the light. The excavation revealed a massive limestone enclosure wall, a monumental boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead. And there, at its heart, rose the base of a step pyramid, a silent confirmation that a second ancient royal monument had indeed been hiding in Saqqara all along. With the surface structure revealed, Ghanem's team turned their attention downward, into the earth. They descended into the pyramid's subterranean chambers, a journey into the silent, waiting dark. A sloping passageway plunged into the bedrock, but their path was barred. A formidable wall of rubble and ancient masonry stood before them, a seal left untouched since the Third Dynasty. After days of careful removal, the passage opened into an unfinished burial vault, rough-hewn and primal. And there, in the heart of the pyramid, sat a sight that stopped them in their tracks. It seemed to glow with a soft, internal light. Its surface was flawless, its form a masterpiece of ancient craftsmanship. Critically, it was sealed. A thick layer of plaster still held its heavy lid fast, a promise of inviolability. It appeared utterly undisturbed, a time capsule from the dawn of Egyptian history. Excitement, electric and palpable, surged through the team. They were on the precipice of a discovery that could rewrite history. A pharaoh's mummy, resting within, untouched by robbers, untouched by time itself. In June of 1954, after years of meticulous excavation, the moment arrived. Archaeologists, government officials, and journalists from around the world gathered in the subterranean chamber, a silent audience to a drama thousands of years in the making. The air grew thick with anticipation as workers strained against the great alabaster lid. With a final effort, it was prized open. The chamber fell utterly silent. The sarcophagus was empty. There was no mummy, no golden treasure, no funerary equipment. The pristine coffin, sealed for millennia to protect its sacred occupant, held only air and darkness. The crowd was stunned into disbelief. How could the final resting place of a pharaoh, so perfectly preserved, contain nothing at all? It was a breathtaking discovery that answered none of the pyramid's mysteries. Instead, it deepened them into an enigma. Investigators were left with an impossible puzzle. The tomb showed no signs of intrusion. The heavy blocks sealing the passages had been found exactly where the ancient builders had left them. The sarcophagus's gypsum seal was pristine, unbroken. If looters had somehow breached these defenses in antiquity, they were ghosts, leaving not a single trace of their passage. So what became of Sekhemkhet? One theory posits that the king was never interred here at all. Perhaps he died unexpectedly, his pyramid complex still a work in progress, and was buried in a simpler, unknown tomb elsewhere. This magnificent structure, then, would be a cenotaph, a symbolic burial place, a monument to a king whose body rested far away. Another, more tantalizing possibility is that the pharaoh's mummy does lie within the complex, hidden away in a secret chamber, a final, clever misdirection by ancient architects to fool those who would disturb his eternal rest. To this day, the missing mummy of Sekhemkhet remains one of Egypt's great unsolved mysteries. Yet Saqqara still guards its secrets closely. In recent years, this ancient city of the dead has yielded a cascade of astonishing discoveries, proving how much still lies hidden beneath the sand. Archaeologists have unearthed dozens of newly found tombs and more than 100 intact wooden coffins, their vibrant decorations as bright as the day they were painted, each sealed with a mummy inside. They have uncovered entire caches of mummified animals, countless cats, crocodiles, and even lion cubs, left as sacred offerings to the gods. Each new find is a conversation with the past.
And now comes the part no one talks about. But this is where the real mystery begins.
A piece of a puzzle on a scale almost too vast to comprehend. The sands shift, revealing one truth while burying another. Perhaps the story of Sekhemkhet is not one of an empty tomb, but a lesson in humility, a reminder that the desert does not give up all its secrets, and that the silence of history often speaks louder than any treasure. Beneath the Egyptian sun, radar pulses penetrate the earth, revealing the ghostly architecture of a world unseen for millennia. At Saqqara, the sands are yielding their secrets. Faint outlines emerge from the data: long-buried temples, workshops of the dead, and avenues of a silent city. Here, in a triumphant act of defiance against time itself, the Great Pyramid of Giza has been reborn. After 14 years of meticulous conservation, its sacred stones once again meet the open air, a monument to the world's first architectural genius. Piece by painstaking piece, this vast necropolis reminds us that history is not dead, but merely sleeping under the dunes. Yet for every wonder reclaimed, countless others remain as spectral memories. Across the globe, the ruins of other ancient megastructures stand as monuments to ambition and decay. We journey to the wind-scoured plains of Mesopotamia, to the legendary city of Babylon. Here, towering ziggurats once pierced the sky, their glow reduced to foundational dust and whispers carried on the desert wind. Further south, in the highlands of Ethiopia, the monolithic Taifi to a kingdom that rivaled the empires of Rome and Persia. Their purpose, and the precise reasons for their civilization's decline, remain shrouded in the mists of antiquity. What cataclysm brought these titans to their knees? Was it the fury of a forgotten war, the slow, inexorable shift of climate and trade, or the simple, relentless erosion of ages? To stand among these ruins is to confront the fragility of our own world. The stones do not speak of failure, but of a cycle, of creation and collapse, of memory and oblivion. In their silence, they challenge our belief in permanence, forcing us to ask, what will remain of our own colossal achievements when the dust of future ages settles?